Broadcasting from the Teddy Belanger studio in Rome, New York. Welcome in to episode 95 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele. Thanks to my producer, Ryan Boyles, behind the scenes tonight, taking care of all the video and stuff going on the screen if you're watching on the YouTube. Excited. We're closing in on episode 100. Special guest tonight joining me. Chuck Cox is here. Chuck, thank you so much for coming on.
Todd, thank you so much for having me. 95 episodes. That is awfully impressive. Very, very cool.
It's cool. Now, you've been a listener, I think, since the beginning, right? Because I've seen
you're
like one of the first people that likes episodes and likes posts and stuff like that. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's impressive that you do this every week. I mean, that's commitment. That is serious commitment.
It's fun. I love it. I was in radio for a long time, was out of radio for a long time, missed doing it. I've done other podcasts and stuff, but discovered the Avetts, and this just kind of happened. And I had an idea of what to do with the show. It's kind of evolved into its own little thing. It's just fun. I love doing it. And I'm happy that you've been along for the ride. It really
absolutely. It's an honor to be on with you. I really do appreciate that.
Episode 95. So you are an author. You're a sports writer. Are you still a sports writer?
No, I used to be a sports writer for about 25 years, and I'm still a writer, but I actually work for the state now here in Texas. I work for the State Department of Health. I'm a continuing education coordinator. So when people want continuing education, they in healthcare, they send in what they want to do, and we approve it and go through it and make sure everything is kind of dot the I's and cross the T's type of thing. And then I also still write some freelance. I write for Boise State University as well.
Really?
Kind of goes back to my marketing days, which I did before this. So I still love sports. I know you're a big sports guy, and I enjoyed my career. It was a lot of fun doing that, but being able to write really pays off because you can do a lot of different things in a lot of different fields. And I've really discovered that since I stopped writing sports.
Yeah. So when you were a sports writer, what did you do? I've seen pictures. Like I was scrolling through all your pictures and stuff. Kind of Facebook stalking.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay.
But, and that's how I found this picture behind me. Actually,
yes. That paid off. That's
Weird
cool.
Al.
There you go.
We'll talk about Weird Al. We'll get to that. But I've seen tons of pictures with you in different sporting atmospheres, I guess, different stadiums, different sports. What did you do? You did a lot of stuff.
So for the most of my career, I was a high school sports writer, and that even if you only cover high school stuff, you still occasionally get to do college and pro things. I mean, just here and there, especially since I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a good amount of that time. So there's lots of different opportunities to do that. But me and two of my friends who are former sports writers also did a college football book for a decade called College Football America Yearbook. And so we produced this book, and we covered every single college in North America, not just in the United States. We did Canada and Mexico too, but we did every level. We did JUCO all the way up to the big boys. And so we had a partnership with the American Football Coaches Association. So they helped us get in a lot of stuff. So the cool thing was we got to go all over the country and shoot photos. I've shot at Alabama and USC and UCLA and places like that. We shot at Notre Dame. And so that was an absolute blast. So a lot of those photos you saw are from those days. And that was going strong and doing really well until the pandemic, and then printing costs just shot up, and we just kind of had to give it up. But we had 10, 11 good years doing it, and it was a blast. We had so much fun. We got really good response too. And we built a really nice, good following of fans. So it was cool.
That is very cool. So can you still get these out there? I mean,
there's if you go to Amazon, they're still on there. Some of them they were print on demand, but some of them that are older are a little more expensive, but like some of the more recent ones are still pretty cheap. But we had Brock Purdy was on our cover one year from Iowa State when he was at Iowa State. We had Lamar Jackson when he was at Louisville on our cover. We just had a great time with it. We really did. It was a blast. And almost every single photo in each book was ours, what we took ourselves. So it was really cool. It was a lot of work. We all did that as a side hustle. We had real jobs when we did it, but we traveled a lot and got to do a lot of neat things. It's just great life experience more than anything.
So to do that for that long, it must have been fairly successful too.
Yeah, it did well. I mean, it did well. We built a steady audience. I mean, we weren't, raking it in or anything like that, but we had fun, and, they were getting us into games, and we were just doing the things that we loved doing. And we all went to college together. Kendall Webb was one of the other guys. We went to school at Kilgore College, which is a junior college here in Texas, my freshman and sophomore year. And then Matthew Poston's, after I transferred to Stephen F. Austin, we went to school there for 2 years. So I
was going to say,
we've known each other a long, long time.
I had a feeling you went to Stephen F. Austin. I saw a lot of pictures of Stephen F. Austin.
Yes,
I saw a tattoo of Stephen F. Austin on you.
I'm a proud lumberjack, Todd.
There you go. Now, I'm a Northeast guy. I'm in New York.
Yep.
Been a Syracuse basketball, football fan my whole life. Basketball team, college sports is kind of killing me lately with all the rules and stuff. It's just not the same, not as enjoyable. Syracuse having their first losing season in basketball since 1969 this year.
Wow.
It's sad. Anyway, did you ever get up to the Carrier Dome?
I did not, but I think both of the other guys who did the book did. I think they both shot football games there, not basketball, but football. Well, we focused on football, so that was mainly what we did. I would love to get up there, and Matthew and I are actually talking about getting up to Buffalo next year to get to a Bills game before they build their new stadium. So we want to check that out. So maybe we get the Syracuse game on Saturday too.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
The dome is nothing like it used to be. They've changed everything about it. It's all remodeled and stuff. New roof, new seats.
Cool.
But yeah, it's definitely worth the trip to check it out. And the football team will be good again next year. They had a great year this year.
They did. They're on a roll. They're playing really well. Well. That's cool. That's very cool.
So anyway, I had to get Syracuse in there to see. I was wondering if you made it up to the Northeast. That's cool that you guys did.
Yeah.
You not, but the other guys did.
Yeah.
So you're a Texan. You're an Avetts super fan, I can say.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
sir.
And
we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about here.
Okay.
Okay, you have a book too that's out. I want to get to the book. Don't let me forget about the book. That was the whole point of having you come on here. But let's talk about when you discovered the Avetts brothers. Do you remember? Was it a life-changing experience for you?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a little bit gradual, but I'll tell you how it all came about. I actually wrote the date down so I wouldn't forget it. May 2nd, 2009, I went to see Dave Matthews Band in Dallas. I'd never seen Dave Matthews Band before. Kind of figured that's probably somebody I need to see. And Avetts Brothers were opening for him. And, of course, at that point, I didn't even know how to pronounce it. I had no earthly idea who they were, and this is right after I Am Loving You came out. I came to find out later. But the first song they played was Die, Die, Die. And they got about a third of the way through the next song, which was Kick Drum Heart. And I remember I think I said out loud to myself, I'm like, who is this? Who are these guys? And my fandom just grew and grew and grew and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And, eventually I ended up going to Red Rocks. I think the first time I went to Red Rocks, I didn't even realize that they had 3 shows. I think I just thought it was one show and I was there for it, but it happened to be the show where Seth did a cover of Halo by Beyonce, which is the only time he's ever done it.
Wow.
Which is on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing.
I have seen it.
And I'm sure you probably have. That's true. Anybody out there, if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. But, and I just, they have become my favorite band. I'm a huge, huge music fan. I love all kinds of bands and all kinds of genres, but they have really, they've really connected. I tell people I've just never made any kind of emotional connection quite like that with a band before. And it's almost every song. It's the live performance. It's who they are as people. And, I haven't ever met them in person, but I've met Jim. I've talked to Jim extensively and Susie.
Great people.
Yeah. Salt of the earth. And I've met Tanya, I've met Bob, I've met Mike. So I've met some of them, but not Scott and Seth. But it's just the whole vibe of it. It just really appeals to me and who I am as a person. And I've seen them literally 50 times now. And I bought my ticket for 51 today. I got my ticket for Willie's 4th of July picnic this morning. So that'll be 51. And then I'll be going to Red Rocks the next week for 52, 53, and 54. So,
oh man, look at you.
Yeah. And you've only seen him 3 times. Is that right?
Yes. I've got my tickets for 4 and 5 though, coming up in June. So
very cool. Very
closing in on double digits.
Yeah. Very good. Hey man.
It's tough when you got kids in college.
Absolutely.
To travel around. And
yeah,
it's just tough. Like I would love to go and follow them around everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm not in a place in my life right now where I can do that. Someday, hopefully they're still touring when I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
But, you talk about the emotion of the emotion of their music. And
right.
I hear everyone say that, like it's, you have a connection with them unlike any other band. Like, I've loved music my whole life. I
Mhm.
never had a quote unquote favorite band. I
Yeah.
just liked all kinds of music.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
music just drew me in, and it was a totally different feeling. And it's hard to explain to people that don't know them, and
Absolutely.
what they're all about. But it's funny to hear all the Avid fans have the same,
Yeah.
general viewpoint of what their music means to them. It's really something else.
Well, being a huge music fan and running across something like that that you've never run across before. I have other bands that I love that I've seen 20 times,
Right.
but it's not the same thing. It's just this different kind of emotion and feeling that it's just so honest. It just really speaks to the soul, and I think that's true for most hardcore Avett Brothers fans, and
It really
it's
is.
an amazing thing. It really is, because that's not an easy thing to pull off, and you have to be genuine. You can't fake
Right.
that. You can't
Right.
just
Well, of course.
say,
Right.
hey, I'm going to make this really emotional song, and you can sing the words, but unless you really mean them and you back them up with who you are as a person, then it doesn't have the same effect, I don't
You're
think.
right. And I think other bands probably have, fan groups that are similar, fan
Sure,
bases,
sure,
whatever. But
sure.
it just amazes me that the Avets like aren't bigger than they are. And I'm kind of glad
Yeah,
they're not,
yeah, yeah.
because it's nice to have that, like, hey, these guys are, they should be huge. They should be so
Mhm,
much bigger
mhm.
than they are, but they're ours.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common feeling for hardcore Avett Brothers fans too. Is like, I can't believe these guys aren't bigger, but that's not a bad thing. So whenever I inevitably tell somebody about them, which I do all the time,
Right.
I will usually just sit there and tell them. I say, hey, let me just tell you who I've seen open for the Avett Brothers in person, okay? And they're like, okay. And I start rattling off Willie Nelson, David Crosby, John Prine, Melissa Etheridge, and they're like, open? I'm like, open.
Right.
I
Now
mean,
you can continue that. Brandy Carlisle,
Randy Carlisle.
Sierra Farrell.
That's what other artists think of them, and that really tells you all you need to know, I think. I mean, that's just, they have a lot of respect from the artist and from the fans, so that's a pretty rare combination, I think, for sure.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. And even with like Swept Away, and it like that should have taken off more than it did too. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like I don't know what it is. Like, they can't get over that hump of fame. And again, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
The Avid fans love Swept Away, and
Mhm.
uh, but that could have been like their ticket to mega stardom
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
had taken off
Yeah.
more than it did. And it just came down to money, and
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the
And
same time, they have accomplished amazing things. Like, they
yeah.
got a show, with other people, of course, to
Yeah.
make it on Broadway. How many people can say that?
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't, I would never speak for them because I have no idea, but I get the feeling they're probably okay with that too.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they're fine with where they are, to be able to go out to Red Rocks and sell out 3 shows. And I'll tell you something, Todd, when I first joined the fan club, when I started to get to be a real hardcore fan and started going to Red Rocks and realizing they had 3 shows and all that, I could get on the pre-sale and buy tickets for all 3 shows, no problem, right? Those days are over. I mean,
Yeah.
me and a buddy who goes with me, we usually split up and get Friday and Saturday, and then we have to kind of get Sunday later, because they just go so fast now. So I think they have pockets of fans for sure, and it's such a communal experience when you go out there to Red Rocks with the people, and everybody's just, it's such a good vibe, and it's really indicative of their music, I think.
So is Red Rocks your favorite venue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
you've seen them obviously in many places.
Yeah,
You've seen them
yeah,
50 times, so that's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
different venues.
Now, Madison Square Garden and seeing them there was pretty cool. That was an interesting, and that was my first time there, so that was pretty neat, and I really enjoyed that. But
Was that the show that shows up on May It Last?
Yeah, and Brandy Carlisle opened that show, so it
Right,
was
right.
Brandy Carlisle and Avid Brothers, and that's from the May It Last at the very beginning there, and at the end. But that was really cool and a neat experience. And for them to be my first show there was really, really cool. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And there are venues I love, but the Red Rocks is just on a different planet. I mean, it's just in a different stratosphere.
Yeah,
And, being our age, we've known Red Rocks since U2 shot their video there. And we're like, wow, where's that cool place at, back in the day, and for Sunday Bloody Sunday. And, but man, that place is something special. It really is.
Definitely on the bucket list to get to.
You got to do it, man.
Someday I will get out there, even if it's not for an Avid show. I just got to get out there.
You just got to get out there. Absolutely.
Do you have a least favorite venue? Do you want to put that out there?
There's lots of those because you go to different places and yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anywhere where it's just I think there's more of like an atmosphere where there's more talking. It's more conducive to like people talking during the show and stuff like that. That drives me nuts. I mean, the venue itself, I can usually most venues have something good about it. It's kind of like a baseball stadium. I know you're a big baseball guy. They're also quirky and individual, but almost all of them have something pretty cool about them, right? For the most part. And I think venues are kind of like that. There's usually something I like about a venue, but just I hate when it's like, when you're like the bar is too close to the stage and there's just too much chatter and things like that. That drives me insane. But Red Rocks is definitely the best though, for sure.
That's cool.
That's a place to see.
I think everyone that I've asked that question to has answered the same thing. If they've been to Red Rocks is number one. Yeah. So I kind of have to ask it, besides Red Rocks, what is your favorite venue to go to?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden, I would say for sure. And I mean, I've seen them in some pretty neat places. I'm trying to think of what the really cool. Well, they play even when they come down here. I live in Austin, right outside of Austin, in Buda, and right down the road in New Braunfels, they play at Whitewater Amphitheater, and that is a really, really cool place to see them. It's right there on the river. It's an outdoor venue. It's real intimate. It's very small. It's a neat place to see them.
Now that's the place I've heard. You said it's cool, but it's definitely not cool when they play there.
Not cool usually when they play there, but they have been there in the fall a time or two, and it's not, it's only in like the 90s because it's the fall. So
only the 90s.
But yeah, I mean it's a very scenic, very cool place to see a show, but definitely not cool weather. Usually
not cool weather, right? And now, are you friendly with?
I do love that one a lot. I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, are you friendly with Jack Pointer?
Yes, definitely. Yes, we've got to be pretty good friends.
Fellow
we bump into each other all the time.
You can both say you were guests on the Avetts and Beyond. How about
That's right. That's exactly right. We'll have plenty to talk about when I see him again, for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
All right.
And so Elvan, I met Elvan in person, and I listened to hers a couple weeks ago. I guess that was.
She's great.
She's so great. She's awesome.
She's very passionate, and she loves engineering.
Yes, she does. You went
Ryan had
into engineering talk at the end. I remember that.
Yeah, I kind of took a nap while we talked about engineering because I know nothing about it.
I hear you.
So I have this book in my hand.
Yes, sir.
You were kind enough to send this to me. It doesn't really show up well on the screen.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see on there.
But the book is entitled, is it just 2718?
2718.
2718.
Yes.
So tell me about this book.
All right. So
you dedicated it to the Avett brothers.
I did. So because I love the Avett brothers so much, I wanted, if I was ever going to take another stab at fiction, this is my second book, I was going to try to somehow include them in it in some way or another. And this idea I had for this book, I was able to kind of weave in a little bit of them, not just dedicating it to them, but one of their songs is also a pretty big part of the story. So I was able to work that in and kind of weave it around the story and things like that. And, because I was so inspired by their art, I wanted to make them part of mine. And I found a way to do it.
That's very cool.
I just decided, hey, I'm going to dedicate it to him. That's what I want to do. And I wanted to do it to the whole band who tours, everybody, not just, Scott, Seth, Bob, and the original core band. But so I said, hey, I'm going to do it. That's what we're doing. And so I'm real proud of it. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I took the photo on the cover. So that was pretty cool. That was from my iPhone. So that's kind of neat.
What is it? What are we looking at?
That is outside of the 6th floor museum in downtown Dallas, where that's the place where JFK was shot from. So the X there is one of the places where he was hit. And they from what I understand, the city of Dallas gets rid of those all the time, and they keep showing back up. People keep putting them. There's 2 of them, and people keep putting them back on the road. So that actually has a little bit to do with the story, so that's why it's on the cover. But I thought it was kind of just a neat, kind of intriguing thing to kind of get you interested in it a little bit, and hopefully entice you to read it. But yeah, that is in downtown Dallas. So that's the school book depository that Lee Harvey Oswald was in on that day. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I have not read the book yet. I have not
Mhm.
had a chance to sit down and read it yet. I am definitely going to.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
have like really bad ADHD, so I
Okay.
may have to like have my kids read it to me or something.
No worries. No worries.
But I am going to read it because
Okay.
you've
Well,
explained it. It sounds very interesting, but you're not
yeah.
going to give away any spoilers here,
No,
are
I
you?
don't want to give away any spoilers because there are spoilers for sure.
Okay.
I've always been told to write about what you know. So my both times I've done fiction, I've tried to incorporate a lot of my life and things that I know in my life into the story. And this, I like the historical aspect of doing historical fiction because so a lot of the events in there, like if I just mention a game or a concert or something like that, are real games or concerts that I probably was at, but definitely existed on that date. So I like doing that. That's part of it too. But I'm real proud of it. I really wasn't sure I would ever write another book, but it worked out perfectly. It was
It sounds really cool. Now,
thank you.
how many books have you written?
Just
Oh,
fiction. Two fiction. Yeah. This is my second one. The last one was 2017. So it's been a little while. And I hadn't really necessarily planned on writing another one. So
it just happened, huh?
it just happened. It happened very organically. And I had an idea that came to me and I just started rolling with it.
See,
So
so it's kind of like a songwriter type of thing.
uh,
Like
at a lot slower pace. Yeah. Yeah.
right,
Because
right. Well, of course. So
yeah.
did you
Yeah.
like wake up with an idea one day and just start
Well,
rolling with it?
part of the idea from it is from something that really happened to me.
Okay.
So this is not any kind of spoiler or anything, I don't think. But one of the big parts of the story is the main character. He buys a new hoodie, and there's a number written on the back of it. He finds out after the fact he's got it home and he's wearing it and everything, and that number's 2718. Well, that part of the story actually happened to me. So I went and I was living in Dallas. I went and bought a hoodie one night as a gray hoodie. And gosh, I wish I could remember the numbers. I don't remember the numbers, but there were 4 digits written on the back in like an orange, like grease pencil type thing. And that was always kind of in the back of my mind, like, man, that'd just be kind of an interesting, like, platform to start a story.
Huh.
And that's what it ended up being. And I found a way to, like I said, tie the Avett brothers into that just a little bit. And dedicate the book to him too, which was really cool and something I was really hoping I could do, and it worked out. It worked out really well.
So do you find it like when you had the idea and you start rolling, writing
Mm-hmm.
down, bits and pieces, wwhatever, does it just flow? The rest of it just flow?
To an extent, but it's a little bit of a slow process sometimes for me. Like I think all writers are different, but there are
Oh,
times
definitely.
when I'll be like, I'll write a couple of chapters like lickety split in a couple of weeks. I've written a couple of big chapters, and then sometimes it takes 2 or 3 months to write the next one. So it's kind of it just kind of depends on the part of the story that I'm in for me, and I'm a journalist by nature, so fiction is a little difficult because I've been taught my whole life to write concise and get to the point, so
Right.
a little hard to kind of expand on that and write dialogue and things like that. So it's a little bit, I take a little bit longer than most people, I'm sure, but it
Is
just depends. Yeah. Yeah.
is writer's block real? Does that happen?
I think so. I mean, it can happen where if you have a story in mind, it typically doesn't,
Right.
but if if you're trying to get started with something like that, for sure, it could be like, man, I just don't know. And yeah, I mean, it's tough, when you're trying to come up with something on your own like that.
So how can people get the book?
It is available on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, it's paperback and a Kindle. So if you search for 2718 or Chuck Cox or 2718 Chuck Cox, you will find it. You'll also find my first book and all of our college football books there. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah, so there it is right there.
Look
Yeah.
at Ryan. He's on the ball.
Yeah,
On the
man.
ball.
Good job, Ryan. Good job. So
So
yeah, there.
this is what we want. We want your fellow Avid fans, Avid brothers and sisters, to get
Yeah,
on Amazon
yeah.
and buy your book and
Man, that'd be
support
awesome.
you.
That'd be awesome.
So
I hope they like it. I really do. It's not, they're not on every single page or anything, but there's a definite, undertone of love letter to the Avett brothers as part of it. It's just part of the story. So
hopefully the show helps to sell like 1 or 2 copies for
yeah, yeah,
or
man.
maybe 10. You never know. You never know.
If it helps me pay for my Willie Nelson ticket I bought today, I'll be feeling good about it.
There you go. You drop a lot on that concert.
Yeah, that wasn't cheap. I mean, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, and the Avett brothers. That's
pretty big
pretty
names.
stout. That's pretty stout lineup. But I did get a good seat, so I'm happy about that.
Where is this one at?
It's here in Austin at it's
Oh,
at Germania Insurance Amphitheater. He does most of them in the Austin area, but last year he's like in New Jersey. Is that right? Somewhere up there. He went up to the East
possibly.
Coast last year
Yeah.
with the 4th of July picnic, but he's back in Austin this year.
Well, I know one of his, I think the Outlaw Fest was in Syracuse area.
Right. But he did the actual picnic up in on the East Coast
I
last year.
got you.
Somewhere. I want to say it was New Jersey. I'm not sure if that's right, but it's somewhere.
That could be. Could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So
Yeah.
you know you are the second author / Avetts super fan to be on this show as well.
I do.
So
The other ones have
who the other one
more
was.
success than I have, but yeah, I'm a Colleen Hoover fan too. It's so funny. My wife when I went to that Dave Matthews Band show and I came home and told my wife about it. I said, "Hey, there's this band, the Avetts Bros." She's like, "Oh, I've heard of them." Colleen Hoover put her quotes from their songs in their book. I'm like, "Wait, who? What?" And then come to find out, she's from Texas as well. So it's like, "Oh, that's so cool." So pretty neat.
You know her?
Colleen Hoover's from Texas as well.
Right. Do you know her though?
No. I've never met her. No, I just know of her. But she's had a tremendous amount of success, which is awesome. Very happy for her.
She's an awesome person too.
And she seems like it. I heard her on your show. I know that.
Yeah, had her here, and I got to sit with her at Swept Away on Broadway, which
was cool.
Was incredible. She's such a nice, normal, down to earth. You'd never know she was famous person.
I went to Swept Away in Berkeley. And,
did you?
Cool. So that was 2022. It was supposed to be in 2020, and when they gave us new tickets, we didn't get to pick a date. They said you're going this date right here.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like a Tuesday in February of 2022. So I went, and I swear, Todd, it was like 2 nights later, they were posted Instagram photos for the show, and Leah Michelle and Jonathan Groff went to the show. I'm sure they know John really well.
Right.
And I'm like, man, because it was a really small theater. So I totally would have got to meet them if it had been the same night. We're just a couple nights off. But, But it was cool seeing it in Berkeley. That was really a neat experience. I enjoyed that a lot. It's worth the wait. It was pretty awesome.
Interesting that you didn't get to pick what day you went.
Yeah. I mean, the pandemic just goofed everything up. I mean, now, they just gave you a ticket and said, well, if you can make it, you make it. If you can't, you can't. So
you only saw it in Berkeley then, right?
I only saw it in Berkeley, correct.
Because I know the show changed from venue to venue when it evolved.
Last August or September, I think it was late August, early September, I was in New York. So I did get to go by the theater and take a picture of all the signage and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I wish I could come back, but I just couldn't make it back. But I did get to see all that, and that was pretty neat. It was so phenomenal. Yeah.
Just hearing what Alvon told me about, like at the last show, the crowd was normally quiet during the show, like Broadway etiquette says, not to sing along and all that, and the place was going crazy through the whole show. I really enjoyed it because I felt like I was at a concert.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know any different. And she told me that after the show. I'm like, really? I figured that happened every single night.
Yeah.
But it's cool how the show evolved over time. At each location, they tweaked things here and there.
Absolutely. Listen to the Cast album when it came out. It was very different than it was in Berkeley. I
still haven't listened to it.
It's good.
I was waiting for my CD to come, and then the CD got pushed off even further.
Yeah.
And now it's like April 28th, I think it's coming out.
Actually, the vinyl's coming out the 25th, and I know that because that's my birthday. So
the vinyl's coming out the 25th.
25th, yeah, April 25th. Yep.
Ooh.
I saw that the other day.
They're doing those special shows in New York City.
Right. Yeah.
At the Bowery Ballroom.
I think it's on a Monday. But
it's on a Monday.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Why on Monday? It must be the only time they could book the place.
Yeah.
Now they're doing 2 shows at least there, but
that is cool. Are you going to make it down for that?
No, the tickets sold out so fast.
Gotcha.
They were only $50 a piece too. It really surprised me how inexpensive it was. It's a tiny place too.
Yeah, that's cool.
I have a feeling the Avetts are going to show up there.
I probably will.
I have no idea if they are or not. But can you imagine seeing them in a little tiny place like that with
that'd be amazing.
Swept Away cast? I'm excited for people that are going.
Yeah.
And maybe I could snag tickets from someone somehow, but I doubt it.
Some of my fellow Avid enthusiasts must be independently wealthy because
they definitely are.
As many shows as I've been to, I know people have been to 100 and 150. I'm like, how in the world do you do that? It's crazy.
They either don't have kids,
yeah.
or they just like to be in debt. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's a lot of money that gets spent on on going on tour with them.
No doubt. No
anyway,
doubt.
So Amazon.com, search for 2718 or Chuck Cox.
You got it.
Or both.
Or
Get
both.
the book. Buy the book. Support Chuck. We want to do that. All right. Rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yes.
And Ryan says he will donate plasma for Avetts.
Okay.
Now he's been to over 100 shows too. So
wow.
I don't know how wealthy he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they've got kids in college. So
okay.
Quick fire questions. Ready? Favorite Avett album? Go.
Say it again. I'm sorry. One more.
Favorite Avett album.
Avett Brothers album. I'd probably still go with I Am Loving You.
I Am Loving You. All right. Favorite concert venue? You already gave me that one.
Red Rocks.
Favorite restaurant from the road of your travels?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's a pizza place in Golden, Colorado we go to when we go to Red Rocks, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's really, really good. It's like right there in the middle of Boulder where all the shopping stuff is.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, though. I'd have to look that one up for you.
I kind of threw you under the bus with that, so it's
yeah. I just don't remember it. It's good, though.
If you come up with it, let me know, because
I will.
Someday when I get out to Red Rocks,
I can Google it while we're talking.
You can if you want to. It's tough during rapid fire questions, though.
Okay, Google keep going. I'll get it here in a minute.
Favorite guilty pleasure? Go.
Oh gosh. I'm a pretty big Olivia Rodrigo fan. So
really,
if you want to consider that a guilty pleasure for music,
I would say that's a guilty pleasure.
And it paid dividends because last February she played here in Austin, and I went, and guess who opened? Chapel Roan.
No kidding.
Nobody had any earthly idea who she was, and got to see her right before she took off. So that was cool.
That's cool. I love Chapel Roan.
I tell you, if you listen to Olivia's music, though, those lyrics, that songwriting's incredible.
Yeah, she's good. I knew
really
that.
So,
my youngest daughter loves Olivia.
Yeah, she's great. She's really, really great.
Favorite snack?
I'm a big potato chip guy, and we got Lay's just put out some all dressed from up in Canada, some all dressed chips down here that we can get. So that's a favorite. I've been eating on those a lot. I heard about those on Letterkenny. I don't know if you ever saw Letterkenny, but it's a Canadian show, and it's kind of got a little bit of everything, and it's really, really good. It's like all-inclusive chip.
It's Canadian?
It's a Canadian flavor.
So they have ketchup in there, don't they?
Yeah, it's got all kinds of stuff in it, but it's really good. And I'm usually not that type. I don't like all that stuff in there usually, but delicious. So look for those. They're all dressed chips. That's the flavor. Lay's just put them out, down here. I don't know if they have them up there, but they are really good. They're very addictive, though. Very addictive.
In the Syracuse area, there's a local potato chip company.
There you go.
Oh, look at Ryan, man.
Yeah, Ryan, you are the man.
Oh, man, he's
those. I'm telling you, they are phenomenal.
In the Syracuse area, though, we have Terrell's potato chips that are made around here, and they're called Syracuse seasoned, and it has the flavor is like all the flavors of all their chips on one chip. And I don't know if that's got to be a similar type of thing. There's no ketchup flavored, though.
Yeah.
That's strictly Canadian. I know that.
All right. I'm trying to find this restaurant in Boulder while we're talking.
Yeah, go. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm definitely a chocolate guy for sure. And I love Rocky Road. If you want it. Regular chocolate or Rocky Road. I love Rocky Road too. That's good stuff. Okay. I found it. Pasta J's in Boulder is the name of it. Pasta J's. If you're going to Red Rocks, I highly recommend that one. Delicious.
Look at you. You're educating us.
That's right.
You're entertaining us. You're writing stories for us.
I'm trying.
A bit of everything here tonight.
I'm trying.
All right. So what did I want to get to next here? Oh, we're going to do that was all my rapid fire questions.
All right. Cool.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Mount Rushmore of music lyrics.
Yes.
Now, Ryan, this was Cody Gentry actually came up with this idea before he came on the last time he was on.
Okay.
And I think we talked for almost an hour. Oh, Ryan's popping on. Uh-oh.
All right. Nice, Ryan.
I've decided to accept your challenge.
All right.
And come on for Mount Rushmore lyrics.
Well, I was gonna say, like, this was you love this.
I can't miss out on the fun. So I know I'm watching you guys, and you guys are having a blast. So I want to have fun with you.
Awesome.
All right. So Mount Rushmore of music lyrics. Cody started this. He said, find your 4 favorite lyrics that mean something to you from whatever songs. Doesn't have to be Avett songs in this. It can be anything. So I told you earlier today, I gave you time to prepare a little bit.
You did.
And you actually have a few. So
gave me homework.
Do we want to go around in a circle here? We'll start with Chuck, and then I'll go, and then Ryan.
Well, I'll fittingly start with an Avett Brothers lyric because it's the one that means the most to me. And if you've been on my Facebook page, as I know you have been Facebook stalking me, you'll know what it is. It is it's definitely Decide What to Be and Go Be It, which I think is a favorite lyric of a lot of Avett Brothers fans. And to me, as many times as I've heard that song, as many times as I've heard that lyric live and all of that good stuff, it just the hairs stand up on my arm every time I hear it. And it's such a great message for anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are, if you're 15 or 55, if you want to do something, if you want to write a book, if you want to start a podcast, you want to produce a podcast, then do it, just do it. And I did that. If you can't get fired up about that, I don't think you're a music fan, but in the context of that song, especially, it's just like, man, it's a perfect lyric in a perfect spot, and live, it's just amazing.
I agree. And if there's a lyric that you hear, 100, 200 times, and it still makes the hair on your neck stand up.
Exactly.
That's something.
Exactly.
That's something. Makes you feel.
That's it.
I of course picked an Avett lyric too. And Ryan said he picked on me before because he said I picked like simp ones here. They were too boring, but this one's kind of boring too.
That's okay.
I apologize. It's one of the new songs though. We Are Loved.
Yeah.
I just love this line. Even as hope seems lost, it may be found again. I have felt alone, but I have never been.
That's great. It's a great lyric. Great lyric. It hits you, doesn't it?
It does. That whole song hits me every time I hear it.
The song hits you, but the lyrics hit you. It hits you from all angles.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And I remember before the album came out, I was talking with Dolph, and Dolph, let me do one of the listening parties for the new album when that came out. He goes, listen to We Are Loved.
Yeah.
Listen to that song. You are going to cry. I'm like, oh, okay. So, he
I will tell you, you know how a lot of the fans give out merch and hats and stickers and all the things, right? Someone gave me a rubber bracelet, and I think it was at Avett Moon. I think it was the day I went to my 100th show at Avett Moon last winter. It was a bracelet that had that lyric on it, and normally you like wear those at a show, and you kind of like it's a moment. But I still have that one, and I was wearing it this week.
Awesome.
I love that.
There you go.
That's a great lyric.
Did Liz give you that bracelet?
I don't remember. You might be right.
She normally does those rubber bracelets, so
you're right. I'm gonna have to ask her. I'm gonna see her this weekend, so I hope.
Oh, nice. That's right.
I hope she has more.
Oh, because you're going to the Tanya thing with Cody.
The Tanya takeover.
I'm so jealous. I want to be there so bad. I just can't. All right, Ryan, you got a lyric?
Oh, I got you. Okay, I'm next. All right, I'm gonna go with Apart From Me. And so, it's actually Part From Me, isn't it? Is it apart? So I feel like I'm Scott and Seth arguing on the stage now. During one of the shows, one of my favorite, I love the banter, and they were arguing with each other over if it was Father's First Spring.
That was at the McKittrick Hotel show that you were at.
And so anyway, I'm looking at the internet, and I don't believe it now because the lyrics are Part From Me, but the title says Apart From. Anyhow, somebody smarter can tell me. But the opening lines of this hit me just in this moment right now. I'm scared, but I wouldn't admit it. Hatred planted out of fear. If I had no choice but to hit it, the road, it calls me dear. So it's all about, running away from things, I guess.
Yeah.
And, talking about how your sort of reaction to having fear or doubt or what have you is often misplaced, or often, you have a sort of a negative replacement for that, whether it be comedy or something else that, probably harms yourself and the others around you, right?
They're kind of a band with a lyric for everything. No matter how you're feeling, good, bad, ugly, and different, they probably got a lyric for it, right?
That's so true.
They really are.
True. Yeah.
So true. All right, Chuck, your turn again. Do you have a non-Avett one or another?
I do, and it's probably my all-time. Well, not probably. It is my all-time favorite solo artist, the late great Prince. I've always been a huge fan of dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. I mean, how can you start a song better than that, right?
That's killer, man. That's killer.
Yeah, I'm huge Prince fan. The movie Purple Rain even really just changed my 15-year-old life when it came out. And it was the first movie that I owned. I got a VCR for Christmas the year it finally came out. You know, they had VHS tapes and things like that. For you young people, you don't know what that is. And for Christmas, I got a VCR and Purple Rain on VHS. And I wore that thing out. So I'm a huge Prince fan. And that beginning of that song, beginning of the album, it's the first song on the album too, is just like, you can't start it any better than that. I mean, you know,
that's for sure.
Hey,
did you ever see
I got news for you, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how much of a super fan you are, but apparently I knew this and I just Googled it. It's the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain.
Oh yeah.
And tonight, March 5th,
yes,
is actually the date where they are playing it for
AMC
one night
theaters.
only.
Yeah, at AMC theaters.
Theaters, yeah.
And I actually, I saw it 3 times on the big screen when it first came out, but I've actually seen it on the big screen in like kind of like a flashback series thing here in the last couple of years. So I didn't make an effort to get there tonight. We don't have an AMC terribly close to us either. So I was like,
that's what I found. I love that AMC does these.
That is cool.
For other films, but I rarely am. It's rarely in our neck of the woods either.
Yeah. I don't think I could have lived with myself if I had never got to see Prince live. That would have been really, really hard. But fortunately I did. I got to see him 3 times. So that would have been tough.
You got to add this to the rapid fire lineup, Todd, because this is he is one of my biggest regrets. My wife got to see him with her mother, but I never saw him.
Man, that guy, unbelievable.
You got to see him 3 times though.
I saw him 3 times. Yep,
that's amazing.
Yep,
very cool.
I'm so glad I did. Yep.
Oh man, the time goes so fast.
It does. It always does.
You have another one though, don't you? You want to throw one more in there?
I can throw another one on there.
You spent time doing this today. You got to use yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another one of my favorite bands, Pearl Jam. And it's a little bit of a longer lyric, but not too crazy long, but I love this one so much. It's, "Oh dear Dad, can you see me now? I am myself like you somehow. I'll ride the wave where it takes me. I'll hold the pain, release me." I always thought that was just a fantastic lyric. That's the song released from their debut album. And on top of already loving that lyric, I saw them at Wrigley Field the first time they played there. And there's like a 2.5 hour weather delay because there was lightning and all this stuff. So they didn't come on till like 10:30 or 11. So when they walked down to the stage and they got on there, they put all their stuff on there and they just started playing Release. It was just like one of the most, I'll never forget that in my life. It was so incredible. And they ended up bringing Ernie Banks on stage later in the show. I mean, it was just nuts.
Really?
It was such a great show. Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool. So that lyric always hits me though. It's such a beautiful song too. So that one's a big one for me.
Love that.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have another one? Because I only had the one.
I do. All right. So I'm going to see part of it's not part of Avetts Tanya's takeover. But there's a band called Palmera. I don't know if y'all have heard of them.
Oh, no.
They're kind of local. They're kind of from the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, but they come down through, Katie Elder is like a huge fan and introduced me to them, and I saw them in Cat's Cradle.
Okay.
I want to give you a lyric from their song that's actually titled Shenandoah. So it says, it talks about Shenandoah, and then it says, "I'm headed back. I've heard you holler. Your beauty grows, your rolling river. You've always had my heart from yonder, away, oh bound away from the wide Missouri." So I don't know. It's a neat song. They're kind of like they are. I don't know how. It's another one of these bands that's like they're folk and Americana and and really soulful. And they're doing a concert in Hendersonville to raise money for PFLAG on Sunday night.
Nice.
We're going to check them out.
Nice.
So
nice.
All right. So basically, we need to do an episode of Mount Rushmore of lyrics.
Yeah.
Just that, and have a bunch of people on and go through.
Yeah. We could get crazy.
It just takes up so much time because we could just keep going and going and going.
Oh yeah. There's so many great ones out there for sure.
Cody Gentry, thank you for creating this segment on.
Nicely done. Nice.
I know it's a thing that happens out there, but I'll give him credit for starting it. And so you've seen Weird Al a bunch of times too, right?
Yeah, I think I've seen him.
Talk about this. We're going to have no time to play any of the music that you picked for this.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I've seen Weird Al. I think this summer will be my 6th time to see him. That sounds right.
Wow.
About 5 or 6. I've always been a huge fan. I mean, he was starting to get big when I was in junior high, and I was hearing him on the Dr. Demento show. And I've just, I've always loved him. I've always thought he was just so clever, and the way he does that. And, for not only to make up the lyrics, and emulate these huge songs, and he has some originals too, but to, go full throttle with the videos and the costumes and to do all of that. I mean, I think he's just a brilliant, brilliant guy. And I think a lot of musicians are very honored when he does that for one of their songs. And that's pretty cool. Guy's had a career for like 50 years. I mean, that's nuts.
Shouldn't he be? I mean, he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know you mentioned this before we went on.
It is an art form. And I will tell you, I was from the generation, of course, I was a big fan of Michael Jackson growing up.
Sure.
And I'll tell you what, when Fat came out, holy wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's just nothing like that.
Yeah.
So Weird Al deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
David Childers deserves to be in the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Weird Al to me is he's such a like the Avett brothers in a totally different way of doing music, but that genuineness comes through too. I think he's such a genuine person, and he doesn't act like an idiot and do stupid things. He just goes about his business and is consistent and is funny, and
he's great at it.
Puts on a great show. He's so much fun live. If you've never seen him, you should try to get him on this tour. He's about to do a huge tour this year. So, but he's something else. He really is impressive. The
only time I've ever seen him in person is when I sold him underwear at JCPenney in Syracuse back in the day.
Nice.
I told this story to Tanya Elizabeth when she was on talking about her interactions with Weird Al.
Yeah.
He bought a bunch of underwear to throw at the ladies in the crowd at the show in Syracuse because they always throw his underwear at him.
So I got to ask then. I got to dig into this really briefly. Like, how many are we talking about and what style here?
Briefly, they were whitey.
Yeah.
And he bought like 6 packs of them. Of like, I don't know, there had to be 6 pairs in each pack.
That's awesome.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yep.
So that means there's roughly 42 people out there that have this in their collection.
Various sizes too. Some were extremely large. But yeah, we had his signed receipt framed in our stockroom.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, we saved. I don't know where that ever ended up, but I didn't get it. I wish I had it.
That's cool.
That was cool.
What Avett song do you think he would parody if he could?
That is a question.
That's the best question of the whole show.
Probably Ain't No Man would be my guess. You could probably come up with something like that. I don't know. Ain't No Van, or I don't know, something along those lines.
That just goes into like, I'm so fascinated. I'm just like his process of how he comes up with these things is fascinating. If you've ever heard him talk about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be thinking of that all night now. Which song?
I can't now. Yeah, I can't. I don't think that's a short.
Me too. I'm gonna have to really think about that one.
No hard.
I think we should reconvene and have Chuck back on the show to talk about this and more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Anytime.
It's been a blast.
Anytime.
So let's quickly, because we're running out of time. You gave me a list of songs.
I did.
To play on the episode now. Let me see if I can find it here. Do you have your list in front of you?
I have it on my phone.
Yeah, what did I do with it?
Yeah, I've got it. Here, just one sec. I can get it for you.
Well, play the Jeopardy music here.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, I found it too. All right.
Okay.
So I'm not going to be able to play all these, but what I'll do is like what I did with Dylan Walsh last week. It was kind of cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I made a YouTube playlist of songs.
Perfect.
And I just posted it on my YouTube page along with the episode, and people checked it out. So I think we'll play a couple of songs off of there, but then I'll do the YouTube playlist, Chuck Cox's picks, and we'll go with that. So let's run down the list and tell me why you picked each song, and let's do the Cliff Notes version because we are rapidly running out of time.
We'll do it quickly.
All right. So the first song you picked was Prince, of course, Purple Rain.
And I've already told you a little bit about that, so we could probably skip to the next one from there.
All right, so
the Avetts Brothers song.
Head Full of Doubt, Road Full of Promise from the Avetts Brothers.
Talked about that. My favorite lyric. Always love that song. Look forward to hearing it live every single time. If they want to play it every show I go to, I'm perfectly okay with that.
The hairs on your neck stand up every time.
Every time. Every time.
Now, this is funny because you said we got to do this quick, and these are all songs we've already talked about.
Well, some of them are, not quite all of them, but the first three are.
The next one, Pearl Jam, Release.
Yes, Release, the song, probably my favorite Pearl Jam song, and that's a bold statement. I've loved those guys forever. I actually saw them when I was at Stephen F. Austin in 1994. They came and played at Nacogdoches, of all places. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
wow,
very cool.
Way back with them.
Very cool. Yep.
Next one, you got Counting Crows, A Murder of One.
I haven't mentioned them yet, but I'm also a huge Counting Crows fan. And even if this wasn't a great song, which it is, it probably gets my vote for one of the greatest song titles of all time. You think of A Murder of Crows, and you got A Murder of One by the Counting Crows, and it's just so clever, and all the lyrics are really good. And that, from August and Everything After, which is one of my all-time favorite albums, start to finish, it's perfection in my opinion.
Awesome. Next up, we got What Are You Waiting For? Me and Adam.
Yes, sir. Me and Adam. I'll tell you about that. This is probably the longest explanation. So as much as I love music, I have never really had like a big local band that I really gravitated toward and loved and became a fan of and everything like that until me and Adam. So I think it was mid to late 2022 or 23. I'm not sure which. I think it was 22. But I saw the Killers and Johnny Marr here in Austin, and me and Adam is a local band here in Austin, and they opened for them unannounced. They didn't have them on the bill. And so, they played a 20, 30-minute set, whatever it was, and said, hey, we're from Austin, and I just love their set. I love the energy, the showmanship. These guys write some of the best hooks you've ever heard in your life, and it's almost every song that's like, wow, it's a great hook. Wow, it's a great hook. And I've seen them like 15, 20 times now. They're great guys. They're much, much younger than I am. But I've had somebody ask if I'm Adam's dad at a show, which is really funny. Old enough to be, but no. But anyway, they're really good guys. They're playing like 5 shows at South by Southwest this coming week. And a really, really good band. They have a new album coming out they've been working on. And I think their single comes out next week. But this song, it's almost kind of in the vein of Decide What to Be and Go Be It. It's like you'll have to hear it, but it's a really good one. I think you'll dig it.
And we mention this all the time when I have my guests pick these songs. I love when there's someone I haven't heard of before because we get to discover new music.
Yes,
I'm not familiar with them, so
absolutely, yeah.
I'm excited to check that out.
Check them out; they're really, really good, really good.
All right, and the last one is another Avetts song, February 7.
Yeah, and I won't hopefully give anything away, but that is part of the tie-in to my book. Ooh. So that's how part of the way I kind of worked it into the story. And but that's a special song for me too. I've always loved that one. I love I'm Rested and I'm Ready to Begin. It's just a great song. A great song of many, many great songs by them.
All right, good segue mentioning the book. Here's a picture of it again, 2718. How do we get it, Chuck? How do we get it?
Just go to Amazon, type in my name, or type in 2718. You should get it either way. And but if you type in my name, you'll see all the stuff I put out there, the first fiction and the college football books, if you're so inclined to check one of those out. But that's where you can get it. You get it on Kindle if you want. You don't have to buy a full, paperback copy. You can read it on your device if you want to. So,
I have a signed copy, so
you do have a signed copy. You do.
I really enjoy that, so it's going right up in my book collection. I promised I'll read it. I promise I'll read it.
Well, let me know what you think when you do.
It might take me a year, but I will get through it.
That's okay.
That's
all right.
I hope people go and check it out. And
I hope so. Yeah, I've already had a few of them buy it. A few Avetts fans for sure. So it's exciting. It's really cool. I hope they appreciate it. I'm sure they will, being such big fans.
Well, this is funny. This has turned into like the longest episode now.
Oh, really?
I got one more thing. What's that?
I got one more thing. So to close it out, since you mentioned South by Southwest.
Yeah.
I think, Todd, this is like preempting a future episode that we're going to have, but one of our future guests, I'm telling you now, it's a future guest that I think we should have is there's a band called Strawberry Flats.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned
in Austin.
Yeah.
And they are performing at an event called South by South Grass on Saturday. So I guess, Chuck, if you're looking to go crash like one of the unofficial parties, it's at Radio East, and I would encourage everybody to go because it looks like a really cool lineup.
I might be doing that. And another one of my favorite big bands is playing South by a couple shows too. Band of Horses are going to be
here.
Yeah.
There's so much good music. I mean, I'm so I've been a few times. I've been to South by Film and Interactive, of course, but really cool stuff. But check out Strawberry Flats, everybody.
Okay.
And you should too, Chuck. Yeah,
I sure will. Absolutely.
Tell them Ryan sent you because their lead singer works with me at AMD.
No kidding. No, come on. Yeah. No. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Nice. Yeah, worlds collide is what I'm trying to say here.
It's all good. All right.
Cool. I might do that Saturday.
Chuck Cox, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. This was a great episode. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you, Ryan, and in person, kind of, Todd.
Yeah, totally.
Close enough. But yeah, we definitely got to do this again.
Absolutely. Let me know anytime.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot.